You know, shout out to Lamont Roach and his whole team, man. Hopefully we can run it back, for sure. Bring it back to New York. Let's do it again. Let's have a rematch back in New York. Let's do it again, baby.
I thought it was a good fight overall. Lamont, I always knew Lamont was, you know, he wasn't coming to lay down. I've been knowing Lamont since we was kids, so we came up in amateurs together.
Despite Gervonta Davis recently going on a rant on social media about how badly he wanted a rematch with Lamont Roach and silence his opponent, boxing professionals have advised him against pursuing a rematch. They have warned that it could severely damage his boxing record. For the first time in his career, Davis finished a fight without having his hand raised. According to many in the boxing world, the draw was a gift to Davis for being the star of the night. Boxing fans weren't the only ones in shock at what they saw when Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. fought to a majority draw on Saturday. Former undisputed lightweight and WBC junior welterweight champion Devin Haney was among them.
So I knew Lamont was serious. He was coming there to fight, but he did a lot better than
Haney said he wasn't completely shocked by how Roach performed, noting that they came up through the amateurs together. However, Davis taking a knee in the 9th round, only for referee Steve Willis to not call it a knockdown, was something he had never seen. I thought it was a good fight overall, Haney said. I always knew Lamont wasn't coming to lay down. I've known Lamont since we were kids, so we came up in the amateurs together. I knew he was serious and came to fight, but he did a lot better than I thought he would, and I thought he won the fight personally. The no knockdown was unheard of. That was the first time I've ever seen it with my own 2 eyes. Haney warned that even in a rematch, Lamont wouldn't lay down.
Then I thought he would, and I thought he won the fight personally. Yeah, the no knockdown, that was like unheard of.
Haney will make his return in a welterweight bout against former unified junior welterweight champion Jose Ramirez. Early in the 9th round, Roach Jr. seemingly landed a punch, and moments later, Davis took a knee before going to his corner to have his face wiped by one of his cornermen. Willis began to count but stopped and allowed the fight to resume. Had the rules been followed strictly, Davis's undefeated record would have been ruined.
I've ever seen it with my own 2 eyes, and yeah.
Yeah, you were, you've made some comments. I wanted to see the backflip, and I'm surprised Tank didn't say nothing back to you about that.
Hey, I was just speaking my opinion on it.
While the draw preserves his record in some way, it wasn't the perfect result Davis wanted. Canelo Alvarez, who recently inked a 4-fight deal with His Excellency Turkey Alec, sat down for an interview with Peter Rosenberg of Hot 97. The conversation covered his upcoming bouts and his new partnership with Alec. However, Rosenberg seized the moment to ask about the controversial March 1st fight in Brooklyn. Did Davis take a knee, and should he have been deducted a point? Rosenberg asked. The Mexican champion replied, he took a knee. You need to lose like 10-8 that round, at least.
Did Gervonta Davis take a knee, and should he have been deducted a point, and in the end lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, it was a draw.
The 34-year-old also pointed out that Davis's corner intervened, placing a towel on his face. That's disqualification for sure, Canelo said. According to boxing rules, if a fighter's corner intervenes mid-round without the referee's approval, it's grounds for disqualification. When Calvin Ford jumped in to wipe Davis's face, it could be seen as outside interference. With 62 wins under his belt, Canelo made it clear that his perspective wasn't about favoritism, but about following the rules. I'm talking about the rules, the Guadalajara native emphasized.
The knee. And plus the corner go up and put a towel in the face, that's a disqualification, for sure.
World Boxing Association President Gilberto Mendoza has indicated that he is poised to pursue an immediate rematch between Davis and Roach. The WBA has the power to order Davis to face Roach again, and failure to do so could result in Davis being stripped of his belt. Davis also has a one-way rematch clause in his contract with Roach, allowing him the opportunity to trigger an immediate rematch if he wishes. Both fighters have expressed a desire for a rematch on social media in the days following the controversial bout.
I didn't know what round it was. Facts.
Tank Eric Blum from DailyMail.com.
However, certain boxing professionals have cautioned Davis against a rematch. Most of the boxing community agrees that Davis taking a deliberate knee should have resulted in referee Steve Willis calling it a knockdown, which would have given Roach Jr. a 10-8 round since Willis didn't call it a knockdown. Davis won the 9th round 10-9. According to 2 judges' scorecards, the fight was ultimately called a majority draw with 2 114-114 cards and 1 114 card in favor of Davis. Had the knee been called a knockdown, Roach Jr. would have won a split decision, taking Davis's WBA lightweight belt and handing him his first professional loss.
You know, when you think about this decision and it being a draw, and you think about what happened in the 9th round, how frustrated are you that that wasn't counted as a knockdown?
Instead, Davis still has an undefeated record, now including a draw. However, according to a March 3rd post from Roach Jr. on X, he seems to believe that the result could be overturned. Word around the block, y'all. The fight going to be 30-1, not 30-12, Roach Jr. wrote in the post. He is expected to appeal the outcome of the fight, specifically regarding the non-knockdown, and this post suggests that if he appeals, the result could be overturned, giving him the win and Davis the loss. However, this could simply be Roach Jr. fueling the controversy, and more is sure to come from this developing story.
Man, I'm not. Honestly, I thought I should have won without that being counted a knockdown.
Davis went on to say that the reason he briefly took a knee was due to grease in his eyes. However, that excuse may not hold up with boxing authorities, as Roach's recent social media post suggested that the result of the fight could be overturned. If true, this would be a monumental turn of events for boxing. Roach, who many believe was robbed of a shock upset victory over Davis due to a refereeing blunder in the 9th round, teased that Davis may soon lose his undefeated record. Roach's post is accurate. This would be the biggest story in boxing so far in 2025. Even if Roach is crowned the winner, he may still feel robbed of the moment he deserved in the ring after pushing one of the best fighters in the sport to the distance.
Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had to wipe sweat out his eye, he had to wipe sweat out his eye. But the rules do state, if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic game.
International Boxing Hall of Fame inductee and former head of the New York Athletic Commission Randy Gordon has spoken out about the controversial Davis versus Roach fight, calling it one of the worst injustices in boxing history. Gordon took to social media, saying, "Tank went down on his own. It's still a knockdown." Then his corner jumped on the ring apron. The fighter gets disqualified. Where's the problem? The judges scored it a draw. Poor Lamont Roach got one of the worst shaftings in boxing history. I hope Roach appeals. He has a very good case. If someone with Gordon's experience in boxing believes Roach has a solid case, we may see Davis handed a loss soon. Boxing analyst Tim Bradley also called the decision unacceptable.
Yeah, they made the rules up. As, you know, of course, Tank the house fighter, they made the rules up. Yeah, that was bullshit. It should have been called a knockdown. You can't take a break like that. The only person that can do that is the referee.
The knee was crap. They made the rules up. Tank's the house fighter. It should have been called a knockdown, Bradley said. You can't take a break like that. The only person who can do that is the referee. The referee can stop the action, not the other way around. Tank basically told him, "Hey, I got something in my eye. I need to go to the corner so they can wipe it out." You don't get timeouts like that in boxing. That should have been a knockdown, period. After watching the action again, Bradley concluded that Roach won the fight.
The referee can stop the action and say, "Hey, let me take you to the corner so they can wipe it out." You don't get timeouts like that in boxing, yo. So that was bullshit.
I already went back and watched it. Tank Davis lost, Bradley said. I wasn't scoring it the first time around. People were asking me who won the round, and I said it was close. But I went back and watched it, and damn, Tank lost. Even without the knockdown, he just didn't do enough work. The old boxing axiom that states there are no timeouts in this unforgiving game clearly applies to Davis, who broke boxing's rules in the 9th round by taking a knee, turning away from Roach, and allowing co-trainer Calvin Ford to wipe something from his eyes. That shouldn't have been allowed.
But it is what it is. I wasn't relying on that. I was relying on what I was doing in there. I think I was taking control. I think I was landing more shots. I think I was landing more power shots.
Referee Steve Willis, as the boxing world knows, should have taken a point from Davis had he done so. Davis would have lost the fight by split decision to Roach. This should serve as an invaluable lesson for Davis, who grew to accustomed operating however he wanted, despite efforts from professionals who worked tirelessly to mold him into the superstar he became. This is professional prize fighting, and it is Davis's responsibility to know the rules and adhere to them. He should, to be more concerned with the task at hand than distractions like putting product in his hair or choreographing entrances.
I thought I was doing my thing, so I'm not really that frustrated about that. But if that was kind of knockdown, I would win the majority decision.
just as Paulie Malignaggi's cutman, Danny Milano, transformed himself into an amateur barber between rounds of Malignaggi's victory over Lovemore and Dew in May 2008. Davis's corner also intervened, making a key difference in the fight. Regrettably, Ford's assistance should have led to Davis's disqualification under New York State Athletic Commission guidelines.
Was it to get the towel out to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on?
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning. And you know, like, you can get knocked out like that, so I'd rather take the knee.
Davis, like many before him, became comfortable operating however he wanted without anyone telling him no. He accepted blame after the fight for not realizing that his actions were against the rules. His rationale for not picking up the pace after giving away rounds early in the fight didn't help his cause. However, the incident in the 9th round will remain a focal point for those perplexed by how it was allowed to unfold.
You know, but I didn't really know that you can like get disqualified for all that. Or like, when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know. It's cool.
Do you want that rematch next? And if so, how likely it is?
No one is suggesting anything nefarious happened between Davis and Willis, but a disqualification might have seemed unnecessary to a veteran referee caught in a competitive championship bout. It is, however, the undeniable duty of the New York State Athletic Commission to correct such errors. The Commission's executive director, Matt D'Agostino, should have been concerned about the occurrence, just like the rest of us. It is well within his rights to initiate an instant replay review.
Where to see that fight happen again this year?
I'm not sure, bro.
To my earlier point, while there are no timeouts for fighters in boxing, there are timeouts for officials responsible for maintaining the event's integrity. D'Agostino should have instructed the replay official to review Davis's behavior before the 10th round. If he had done so, Davis would have lost a point, and Roach would have likely won by split decision.
I'm definitely not sure, but hopefully we could get it before... Nah, it probably won't be this year.
Roach's team should have questioned the commission immediately after the 9th round ended. If they had, they could have insisted that the replay mechanism be used, which might have affected the outcome. Had the replay been reviewed, Roach would have had more leverage in future negotiations.
One next?
It's definitely the one I want next, but it's not gonna be next.
This is a teachable moment for promoters, officials, and commissioners, especially those working with B-side fighters in high-profile bouts like Davis versus Roach. If you're in the corner, ensure you're protecting your fighter's interests, even if it's just in the most professional manner.
And since this is not the 1900s, since this is not the 1500s, since we have technology, they can utilize all these cameras. And
Roach's performance was exactly as he and his father, trainer Lamont Roach Sr., predicted. He withstood Davis's vaunted power and showed the confidence Davis's prior opponents lacked. Roach proved he wasn't intimidated by Davis, and no matter the result, he would have been entitled to a rematch.
if not in real time, at least after the fight, to make the right call and make the wrong decision right. Last thing the sport of boxing needs is for fighters to call some timeout.
Roach performed exactly as predicted. He took Davis's power well and never showed fear. Davis's prior opponents had allowed Davis to gain a psychological edge, but Roach rejected that. It wasn't just about height. Roach knew Davis better than anyone else.
Is getting hurt, frustrated, so on and so forth. Ironically, this is the second time Gervonta did this. The first time he did it was against Hector Garcia, after Hector Garcia landed one of his best uppercuts.
They were rivals as kids, and Roach lost both amateur matches to Davis in 2011. They sparred many times before Davis turned pro in 2013, the year Roach won a national Golden Gloves title. Roach's skill, chin, confidence, and grit served him well in the biggest fight of his career. Regardless of whether it was a win or draw, Roach's performance solidified his place in boxing.
Has something in his eye. He could have had moved around quickly and went behind the referee and told him something instead of taking a knee. And then the referee could have had called timeout if he wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt to get his eyes checked by the doctor.
This isn't just about Davis getting a chance to prove himself. It's also Roach's opportunity to run it back in front of fans eager to see the rematch. Wherever it happens, the second fight will draw a huge crowd and be a significant event. For boxing, hopefully, the use of replay review won't be ignored, as this fight has proven how important it is to get the right result.